If a piece of equipment costs 3.5 times cheaper than the original manufacturer's equipment, I am inclined to look into it and see if I can save some money, because hopefully they are functionally the same. Unfortunately, with the newer BG-R10 battery grip for Canon R5, R5c, and R6, it falls short on multiple regards. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why I will be returning this battery grip instead of keeping it. You see, recently I came upon a second Canon R6. I love my original R6. Bought it 2 years ago. I also purchased the original Canon BG-R10 battery grip, supplying me with 2 batteries and all the functionalities when I take pictures in a portrait orientation, as well as the usual landscape orientation. When I got my second R6 just a few days ago, I decided to look on Amazon to see if I can find something a little bit more reasonable, because the original Canon BG-R10 battery grip cost $350, whereas this newer box is $99. So 3.5 times cheaper. Decided to try it out. Now, I put in original Canon batteries in this grip before I inserted it into the new R6. Well, it's actually used R6. New to me R6. So let's do a quick unboxing and let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is the newer BG-R10. Let's open this up. That's a spacer, comes in a bubble wrap. And of course it comes with instructions, which are fairly well written. And it comes with instructions on how to contact them, how to dispose of it at end of life. Instruction manual, something that nobody reads. Okay, that's pretty much it. The box is pretty much empty. All right, let's put those things aside. And let's look at the actual unit itself. Another plastic bag. Let's get rid of it. Firstly, when you feel the texture on this area right here, it's sticky. It's as if the glue had come out from underneath the grip area right here. So all this area, I know you can't tell by the video, but all of this area feels very sticky, like residual glue or glue that came out from underneath this grippy area. So anytime you put this down on something and if it has any dirt on it, it will attract, it will stick onto this grip. So first of all, sticky surfaces. I don't like the sticky surfaces. Secondly, unlike the Canon buttons, so these buttons right here, these tend to be clicky. These tend to be clicky, including the shutter button right here. And it does not give you that premium feel like the original Canon BG-R10. These sliding, rotating knobs, it feels cheap. It feels cheap. I don't know how to describe it, but it does not give you that premium feel like the Canon, the original Canon BG-R10. So sticky surfaces, clicky buttons, not something that I enjoy. I take photos often in moisture. Sometimes it'll be raining and things like that. For instance, at a football game or something, in a situation where there's moisture involved. One thing that I noticed when I compare my original Canon battery grip is that there is, on a Canon grip, there's weather sealing. There's a rubber gasket all around this area right here. So when you put the tray, the battery tray, into the grip, there will be a seal. Unfortunately, for the newer battery grip, there is no weather sealing here. Granted, it's unlikely that you're going to get so much water ingressing into this battery grip, into the battery tray, where you would impact the contact surface. But there's always that remote possibility. So lack of weather sealing around a battery tray, no bueno for me. Also, if you notice, the battery is held by these springs, which is kind of interesting. Whereas the original Canon battery tray has just a piece of metal that springs up. So that's another difference between the original Canon and the newer BG-R10 battery grip. I did put this into my new used camera, and interestingly, what I noticed as I was setting up the camera, I didn't really shoot with it. When I was setting up the menus, I noticed after I used it, I noticed the battery was draining serially instead of evenly, draining both batteries concurrently. So that was another interesting aspect of this grip. It was draining the batteries serially. I did not use it for any prolonged length of time. I simply used it, discharged the batteries as I was setting up the menus and programs within the new used R6. But when I took out the batteries, I noticed that one battery has significantly much more drain than the second battery. So it seems to be draining batteries serially instead of concurrently, evenly. So that was another thing that I noticed, which was interesting. And lastly, at the time of this recording, Canon had just released another firmware update, version 1.8.3. Of course, I got the new used camera. I reset the camera, all the programs, and I tried to update the firmware from 1.8.2 to 1.8.3 using this newer battery grip. Unfortunately, I was able to load the firmware, but whenever it would try to launch the software to load the firmware within the camera, it would just quickly jump out of the loading software. I could never get it to work. I tried downloading a new firmware, downloading it via the app, downloading it directly to the SD card, and then try to load the new firmware. It would not work. So I figured, well, the only thing that's new is this battery grip. I took the original Canon battery grip and I inserted it into the new used R6 that I just got. I was able to install the firmware without any difficulties, which is very interesting. Why would a third-party battery grip not allow firmware updates in Canon R6? So the only difference is the original battery, the Canon battery grip versus this grip. I was able to install the firmware using the original Canon grip and unable to install it using the third-party grip. For those reasons, I'm returning this grip. And before I jump off, let me show you that this comes with a couple of covers. So obviously you'll have to remove that cover and then also remove this cover, which contacts your camera. So these two things will have to be removed before you can start using this newer grip, should you get the newer grip. So let me know in the comments if you've used a third-party grip, if it caused any issues with your operation of the Canon R6, R5, R5c. I'd be curious to see what your experience has been with a third-party grip. For numerous reasons, I'm unfortunately going to have to return this. Let me know what you think. Take care. Bye-bye.